Hey, Wobble Gang. I do hope you are doing great. My name is Ollie. Hit that subscribe button if you love a good Reddit story. All right, let's get into our first story of the day. Our first story of the day comes from Anon Paimon in the AITAH subreddit. And it says, "My narcissistic sister-in-law wants to come to my Christmas dinner. For context, I, a 27-year-old female, and my sister-in-law, a 32-year-old female, whom I'll call Sarah, do not get along. We were very close at one point, but 2 years ago, my brother and she got into a very heated argument that escalated, and I told her she was wrong when she asked for my opinion. She threatened me after that, and I've not spoken to her since. She has since moved back to her hometown, and I look after her daughter, an 11-year-old female, as she goes to a private school in my city. I'm hosting a Christmas dinner this year, and everyone except Sarah was invited initially. My brother later told me that she's alone for the holidays. The thing to note about Sarah is that she is very narcissistic. She will only be nice to you if you agree with her all of the time and take her side even when she's wrong. She will gaslight you even if you have evidence. She essentially has no friends because of this, and her family no longer speaks to her. I felt bad given our past relationship and said she could come as long as she agrees to be civil at all times. Recently, however, her daughter had a Christmas party. I bought her a cute and appropriate outfit that suits her style of choice, and she was very excited to wear it. Sarah called her and asked to see what she would be wearing before instantly becoming upset when she saw the outfit. She told her she couldn't wear it. Her daughter insisted it's what she wanted to wear, and when Sarah realized her daughter wasn't going to listen, she stated, "If you want to look like a grandma and go to your party, fine," and then quickly hung up on her daughter. I was upset because instead of being understanding of her daughter's opinions, she chose to insult her and hang up on her. It also showed me that in the past years, Sarah is still the same. I no longer want her to come to the dinner. My mum has stated that it would be a jerk move. Would I be the arsehole to rescind my invitation? Ah, here we go again, right? Another family drama, and this one's a doozy, mate. So let me get this straight. You've got your sister-in-law, Sarah, who's, let's face it, got a bit of a flair for the dramatic, yes? We've all got that relative. And here she is, she's trying to crash your festive plans because she's alone for Christmas. Initially, okay, fine, you open the door. But then she pulls the ultimate party pooper act by belittling her own daughter over a simple outfit choice. Are we serious right now? How do you justify that behavior? And you know what makes it worse? Even after all this history, Sarah still chooses to act like nothing's changed. Oh, I get it. Family's complicated. But honestly, at this point, how much is a person supposed to take? It's rough, mate. You'd think that after all the tension, there'd be some, I don't know, personal growth or self-reflection. I know I can't be the only one questioning whether the spirit of Christmas really includes an all-access pass for toxicity. This, folks, is why boundaries exist. Honestly, maybe rescinding her invite isn't you being a jerk. Perhaps it's self-preservation. So let's have it then. Am I off track, or does this sound pretty spot on to you? Isn't family supposed to, lift us up rather than drag us down? Drop your thoughts below, because I'm curious what you'd do in her shoes.
Briscogan adds, "Mom is right. It wouldn't be good to rescind based upon the conversation she had with her own daughter. You would be the asshole. That being said, if you called the mom and had a conversation about her making the daughter feel bad about her outfit, and that conversation turned ugly and mom got belligerent, you could use that as a reason to uninvite her."
OP responds, "Thank you for responding. Your approach does seem more reasonable. I might just try that first." Someone says, "You're not the a-hole. I totally disagree with those who say you have to keep your word. She is bullying her daughter. You are doing the work of mothering this child for her. That is really kind of you to do. The only reason to let her come is in case she pulls her daughter from the school and takes her home. Then the girl will suffer full time." OP responds, "Thank you for your response. Thankfully, my niece's parents have an agreement that she should graduate before she goes back to live with her mom full time." Someone says, "My brother and she got into a very heated argument. What was the argument?" "She threatened me after that. What was the threat? Also, is this your husband's wife or your brother's wife?" OPP responds, "This is my brother's wife. Their argument was about her staying in contact with her affair partner. She wanted me to take her side, but I told her what she was doing was wrong if she wanted to save her marriage.
She threatened me that I would never see her daughter again and that she better not ever see me by chance, insinuating she would harm me, I suppose.
Pandora's Box 1987 says, "You're the asshole. Going back on your word is an asshole move. But the thing is that sometimes people just have to be jerks. I see it as talking in the language they understand. No one should force you to host people you can't stand. And people are allowed to change their mind, even if it makes you temporarily the bad guy." OPP responds, "I have no problem being the a-hole, laugh out loud. I just needed an outside perspective since I felt like I was thinking about the situation too subjectively."
Just a day later, the OP comes back with an update, and it says, "I hope I am updating correctly. After reading everyone's comments, I made a decision to simply talk to Sarah. I called her last night. I didn't mention anything about the conversation she had with her daughter, and instead kept the call focused on the dinner and my expectations. I told her that I understand we hadn't talked in about 2 years, but I wanted to clear the air if we were going to be around each other for the holidays. I explained that I was hoping to have an uneventful holiday surrounded by the people closest to me. I even said I would be happy to have her over because it would make her daughter very happy. I do not know where communication got twisted, but she got so upset. I am also very proud of myself for having recorded the phone call so she can't twist my words or anything like that. She went on a full rant, saying she did so much for me and my family and that we should have been understanding of her, talking about her affair here. Mind you, she's the one that dragged us into her drama back then because she was hoping we would have her back, supporting her affair. We tend to stay out of their marriage drama unless it concerns their daughter. Anyway, she uninvited herself. She said she was offended I would call her and make her feel like a bad person for bringing up the past. I mentioned nothing about the affair. She said she didn't want to be around us anyway, that my brother was the one who wanted her there, which is a lie, since he had sent me a screenshot of her asking to be invited because I didn't believe him when he said she wanted to be with us for the holiday. I didn't mention this to her and just said, "Okay, take care," before hanging up. That is the end of my little saga. Thank you to everyone who commented yesterday. I'm glad I took this approach because if I'd simply uninvited her, I would have been second-guessing myself the entire time, wondering if she had changed at all. A little naive thinking, but I'm okay with this outcome. Have a happy and safe holiday, everyone. Tarara Boomdi A comments, "Just be prepared for her to show up uninvited. Maybe save her a seat at the children's table."
Bedroom Educational 94 says, "Not the a-hole again. Original poster, this isn't the end of this. She won't let it go. She will likely force your hand and is going to go to extreme lengths when she finds out you recorded that call so she can't twist herself into the victim. Be prepared. I hope that I am very wrong and that you have a safe and happy holiday." A Reddit user says, "Hold up. The argument 2 years ago was about Sarah staying in touch with her affair partner? She really expected you to back her up on that? So, not the a-hole, and sister-in-law needs to be on low contact. Uninvited herself? Sounds like a great Christmas gift for the entire family." The next story comes from Indie Game Drifter in the Am I the Jerk subreddit, and it says, "Am I the jerk for blowing up at my boyfriend after a child support letter showed up when he swears he has no kids? I, 28 female, have been dating my boyfriend, Mark, 31 male, for about a year and a half. We do not live together, but we are at each other's places a lot, and I pick up his mail sometimes when he is out of town for work. He has always been very clear about not wanting kids right now, and I've asked the normal early relationship questions. He told me he has never been married, no kids, no baby mama drama, none of that. I believed him because he is pretty open about other messy things in his past, like a former drinking problem, therapy, and so on. Last week, I grabbed his mail from the lobby and noticed one envelope that looked very official. It had our state's Child Support Services logo in the corner and his full name, including the middle initial. I did not open it right away, but I could see through the little window that it said, Notice of Child Support Obligation, and there was a case number. When he came over that night, I handed him the stack and casually said, what is this? He got weirdly stiff, like his whole face went flat. He tried to laugh and said it must be a mistake. People mix him up with someone else all the time because he has a common name. I pointed out it had his middle initial and the last 4 digits on the inside page. You could see them through the window, and he snapped. Why are you staring at my mail like that?
That made my stomach drop. I asked him straight up if he had a child he never told me about. He said no, and that I'm being paranoid. I asked why he looked like he had seen a ghost then. He said because government letters are stressful and that I was basically accusing him of cheating. I admit I raised my voice. I said I do not care if he has a child. I care that he lied to my face for 18 months. He kept repeating, "It is not real. It is a clerical error or identity theft," and he refused to open it in front of me. He shoved it in his jacket and tried to leave. That is when I lost it and said if he walks out without showing me, I am done. He called me controlling and said I am crossing a boundary and acting like his mum. Now he is barely texting me, and when he does, it is to say I made a scene and embarrassed him and that I have no right to interrogate him over a piece of mail. Part of me thinks if it was truly a mix-up, he would have opened it, called them, fixed it, and that would be the end of the story. Another part of me worries I went nuclear too fast. Am I the jerk?
A Reddit user says, New Jersey. He's lying, obviously. He's a deadbeat father. Why would you want to be with someone like him? Why aren't you saying X? Dump his worthless, lying ass before you waste any more time on him. OP responds, I'm not calling him a deadbeat over one envelope, but refusing to open it is the whole issue. I told him, show me what it is, fix it, or we're done. I'm taking space right now. Take that 1913 shares. I would drop him. Canned AM2 says, I dated a guy once who was very open about having a child with his ex, and I met the child and everything. We did it for over a year. One time, I went with him when he picked up his child. There was another child there who's only a year younger than his son and looked exactly like my boyfriend. The second child, however, had a lazy eye. I asked about the second child and if she was his child. He said no. His wife cheated on him, and he knows it's not his kid because look at her eyes. So that ended that relationship, and I never looked back because it is so disgusting when men will not claim their children. You're not the jerk, and I sure as hell wouldn't spend any more time on a guy who denies his own children.
All right, let's just take a moment here because my head is spinning. I mean, really? A child support letter? Listen, if I were in your shoes, I'd be questioning every detail of my life decisions up to this point. And here's where it gets really puzzling. Why wouldn't he just open it? Like, what is he trying to hide? Was it really a clerical error, or is he creating the cover story of the century? And then, for him to turn it around on you, calling you controlling. Oh my, that's rich. This guy needs a reality check. Because at this stage, if there's even a hint of deception, trust goes out the window quicker than you can say, child support. And you know what? If you're left wondering whether you're justified, truth is, you're not just justified, you're practically Sherlock Holmes here. I'd say, trust your gut, engage that instinct. Because that mistake seems a bit too convenient, doesn't it? What's really at play here? Let's hear your thoughts, folks, because I need to know I'm not taking crazy pills. Our last story comes from Ashamed Butterfly 373 in the Am I Overreacting subreddit, and it says, Am I overreacting for taking a break from my boyfriend after he ripped my favorite shirt? My boyfriend, a 28-year-old male, and I, a 27-year-old female, have been dating for almost 2 years and living together for 6 months now. I met him through my friend at a house party and we immediately hit it off. He was almost exactly like the guy I wanted. Extremely tall and huge, witty with jokes, kind and well-dressed. And he was absolutely muscular. We vibed throughout the party and exchanged numbers at the end. He has met my family a couple of times after we moved in together, and they absolutely loved him. My grandparents host Thanksgiving dinner almost every year, and we were both invited to it. I thought it would be lovely to introduce him to them, and my other family members too, since my uncle's family would be there as well. He had to drop his sister off at his parents' house, a 2-hour drive, and pick me up from our house, which was a 1.5-hour drive to my grandparents' house. Everyone was happy to meet him, and it seemed like they really liked him, until we sat down for dinner. We said our grace, and Grandpa carved the turkey and started passing it around the table. It was a regular-sized turkey, like we have for every Thanksgiving, enough to feed 12 people and still have leftovers, and there were 10 of us. Both of us were sitting at the end of the table next to Grandpa, so my boyfriend was the last one to get it. There was still a lot of it left because everyone took only a little and would pass it around again for more after some time. He placed it right next to him and started digging through the entirety of it. He was so profuse, as my nephew said later, gobbling it up. I told him quietly to go easy, but he did not listen. He started saying how good it was, and my grandma had a huge smile on her face. He was eating just the turkey, and my grandpa said, "Boy, someone really likes turkey." Everyone laughed, but it got to a point where everyone was talking about it. He did not take any hint and shrugged it off like a teenager. My face turned red from embarrassment, and I could see everyone judging us so hard. I could hear my uncle and his wife make unfunny jokes about it. It was finished without getting to anyone again, with no leftovers. My boyfriend is a gym freak. He spends a ridiculous amount of time and money on working out, eating protein-rich meals, online courses, etc. He has a set protein limit that he hits every day, sometimes exceeding it, but never under. He also gets his protein from just the meals, no supplements, so he is used to having large meals. It has never been a problem with me, and I respect his way of living, if not, love it. We cook together all the time, and if I'm not in the mood, he happily makes a meal for me. He won't even let me contribute to grocery expenses. Because of him, I started eating healthy and feel a lot better about my lifestyle. After the dinner, we got into a fight while driving home. He said he had been driving all day and didn't eat anything after breakfast, so he had to hit his protein, and that he wasn't enjoying it after some time and had to just shove it down the throat. I said if he was that hungry, I would have happily made him a meal after we got home, but now everyone in my family is going to talk about how he finished something made for the whole family. He had thought everyone took their share. What? He got really mad and said I'm blowing this out of proportion and overreacting over a simple meal. I snapped, saying how am I overreacting if I am just trying to communicate about what he did? It was an hour-long drive, so things got heated up. He kept saying I'm calling him a pig for eating like that and should probably get out of his life if it's such a problem, because he believes he did nothing wrong and isn't going to change himself. He persisted on it even though that wasn't my point. It got so bad that he dropped me at a gas station in the middle of the night and said to think about what I just did. I was terrified. I collected myself to call an Uber to my sister's house and sobbed the entire night. I told myself, after a week, things would get clear. He hasn't texted me, nor did I. I can see how I could have reacted differently, but I can't get over the fact that he just left me stranded in the middle of the night. Am I overreacting, or should I make a move to make things right? Edit. Thank you everyone for all the comments. I did not expect to get this many reactions. It really helped me to hear other perspectives and see how naive I was. Here is an update of what happened after I posted this. I called him to talk about what had happened. The call was answered by a woman whose voice I didn't recognize. Yes, it wasn't his sister. I know her voice very well. When I asked if I could talk to him, she replied, "He is in a cardio session. I'll tell him to call you later." I was puzzled after this, so I waited for his call, imagining all the worst things. And it turned out to be right. He was cheating on me. He told me he had been seeing her for a couple of months. She works as a coach in the gym that he goes to. I searched her up on Instagram and she is a fitness influencer with a lot of followers. A lot. He said she is a better match for him and will help him grow his career on social media. Yes, he has a fitness channel too, but with nowhere near the amount of followers she has. She has a much better body than me. When asked why he didn't tell me earlier and end things right there, he said he knew I would overreact and act emotionally immature like I am doing right now and wouldn't understand him. He has packed my things in boxes and kept them in the garage and told me to collect it or not, he doesn't care, and ended the call. I started sobbing uncontrollably. My sister was beside me and comforted me. She said his fitness influencer girlfriend might not even know that we had been dating, and he is running after her followers, not her. I started saying he couldn't do that, and she replied that I'm in denial, and he probably saw the opportunity in the Thanksgiving argument and got rid of me, making me think I was the one that caused the end of our relationship. I'm taking my sister and her boyfriend to collect my things this week and probably get closure.
Katha Elizabeth says, someone who doesn't consider the whole family or all the meals that will be made with turkey leftovers is a selfish person. Someone who forcefully eats half a turkey just to meet his nutritional goals or whatever, even though he no longer wanted to and it was making him feel unwell, likely has an eating disorder.
Someone who refuses to change himself is a bad partner. Someone who abandons you at a gas station in the middle of the night on Thanksgiving is abusive. You are completely in the right and should stay far away from him, even if he apologizes. There are so many red flags here. I'm glad you're safe from this individual.
Draw next 5604 says, Girl, he left you stranded? Let's use our brain here. No matter how upset someone gets, you don't just dump them somewhere. Get out.
Man, do you see this roller coaster we've just been on with the last story? Emotional highs and lows, confusion everywhere, and a twist that feels like something out of a scandalous soap opera. I mean, really, the audacity of some people just blows my mind. It's absolutely wild how a discussion about Turkey could lead to uncovering an affair. That in itself should be a Thanksgiving legend. But all right, folks, let's shift gears a bit. I would love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about how this all unfolded? Are you as baffled as I am? Drop your comments below and let's discuss it. And oh, don't just leave me hanging here in the aftermath of this chaos. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss another wild ride like this one. Trust me, there's plenty more craziness where this came from, and you definitely want to stick around for it all. Until next time, keep those stories coming, keep sharing, and keep being awesome.